When you do nothing, nothing happens. Best time to take action is now. This is the time to work on you and your business. So I've created a group, an online academy for professionals and entrepreneurs. Power Partners will help you to start helping yourself.
Helped me change my life and my business.
Not a Toastmasters, it's not a BNI, it's not any of these, but it is. So it's all this stuff in one place.
Get the results that you deserve right now. So what are you waiting for? Let's make it happen. See you in Power Partners.
My body becomes like a cement. Oh my God.
That was the better one.
Okay. Oh my God. It's like magic. Literally like magic.
Help Heal Humanity is an internationally registered charity mindfully designed to provide the world's most vulnerable communities with access to education, food, support, and love. We build the infrastructure, develop the programming, and foster the global connections necessary to support the charity and future of the people in our project countries. Through unconditional giving, Help Heal Humanity achieves its mission to inspire and love those in need in a compassionate and sustainable way. Our vision is to make conscious giving a widespread global practice through kindness and servitude. Get involved now and be part of our Help Heal Humanity family.
Hello, and welcome. If you're here watching us right now, you're at the the Diamond Perspective panel live. I'm so used to saying the Diamond Factor. Yes, you're here. And I love this because every month we come together as a panel and discuss different topics just for people like you out there regarding your business, regarding your personal life. Just anything that's either positive or something that's helping you grow. I'm really excited today because we are starting off, in towards the end of 2023, we're doing a little spin. So usually I have a lot of what I call the queens that come on the panel. And, I'm kind of like facilitating it and helping everybody get around. Well, moving forward, I'm going to let some of the queens facilitate. Yeah, it's called a takeover. So I'm going to have some of the queens take over, what I do. And basically you'll see how they flow. You see what they love. You see what kind of topics they're talking about within a panel discussion, because we all learn and grow from each other, right? I don't want to hog up the space of facilitator. That's not me. So I'm going to sit back and be one of the panelists, right? So with this, I'm excited because this topic for today is called Harvest and Beyond, Nurturing Relationships with Family, Friends, and Clients. Okay. And you're going to get a little bit of spin on what the Harvest and Beyond deals with that particular topic from our facilitator, Mrs. Christina Shanti. So she's going to be facilitating with us. And I just want, in the comments, whatever you need to do, I want you to make sure that you show us some love, have some questions. You're part of this panel too. It's not just us being on the screen, but I want to make sure you are a part of it. So if you have questions, we'll put the comments up on the screen and we'll answer those as we're talking, okay? So with that, let's get ready to have some fun on this particular topic because it's all about growing. Hello, and we're here. Yes, we have our panelists for tonight. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, before we start, like I said, we come every first Thursday of the month. I know we're a week off this month. Things happen, life happens, right? But we still wanted to make sure we did our monthly panelists. So we're doing it today, and we'll be back November next month. But you have to be ready for today because this is going to be this is an awesome topic. I want to, before we even start with our wonderful facilitator, Christina Shanti, that's here, that's going to be facilitating, we want to get a chance to know each and every person that's on the screen with the three of us, right? Mm-hmm. So I will start off. I'm used to doing the whole thing, but I'll start off and then I'm going to give the ball to Mrs. Christina and let her follow through with this. So everybody's name, my name is Barbara J. Beckley. I am the CEO and founder of the Diamond Factor Network. Just launched a few weeks ago, but been doing shows for over 5-6 years. I help people just make sure they're coming from unseen to seen. And that means you need to have visibility in your life. You need to understand how powerful and important you are to show up in what you do in your gifts, your purpose, your uniqueness, whatever you do in this world. And I'm here to help you with that. So that's what I do. And I'm going to move on to the other Barbara that's on the screen.
Whoop. Okay, I'm unmuted. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Yeah, I'm Barbara Ellison. I am a transformational life trainer, and I'm the founder of Wellness Playroom for the best version of you. And for myself, I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm rather than the exception, because I truly believe that God made us to have to be happy and healthy and debt-free and abundant, and to have that in our lives. So right now, I tend to work with baby boomers who are facing retirement. And my journey started when my husband passed away, and I had no idea of who I was outside of all of the titles that I had put on myself of, daughter and wife and mother and all those things. And so now I work with late career leaders and business owners who are facing retirement and they have no idea of who they are outside of their job title or their job description. And it's a scary part. And so that's what I do. I love it. And I love when I see the light bulb go on. And that's where Harvest comes in. Is to see people who can make a harvest out of all of the years that they have been in their jobs. And it is just absolutely the truth. So this is a great topic, especially for this time of year.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. I'm excited. I'm just jumping all in. Hey, ladies, I am excited to be able to facilitate this evening's show. Thank you, Queen Barbara, for offering this platform to be able to facilitate such an awesome topic that is actually dear to my heart. Let me introduce myself. My name is Christina Shanti. Barbara, you just talked about all those titles. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a writer. I'm a pastor. I'm an educator. I'm a servant leader. And now I'm a show host of the show Harvest and Beyond. The show Harvest and Beyond, the name came from the idea that life is like a continuous harvest. Just as Barb said, the things that you do in life, it's a continuous harvest, and embracing the mindset. And that kingdom mindset is the harvest mindset. Individuals can not only achieve success, but go beyond it without any limits. So the idea of Harvest and Beyond is planting seeds, harvesting them, and growing beyond them, starting locally to be effective globally. So let's dive into this topic of Harvest and Beyond and what it means to our relationships with our loved ones, our families, our clients, being in the marketplace, or wherever you may find yourself right now in this journey of life. Let's talk, ladies, and let's have fun.
So we're ready to go. So as she said, let's talk, let's have some fun. Yeah. So with that, I'm going to give it right back to you, Christina, and you lead the way. And questions or thoughts that you want us to think about regarding the topic?
All right. Well, regarding the topic, the first thing is when you ladies hear the word harvest and beyond, What do you think?
Hmm.
Barb dived into it just a little bit just a minute ago. But when you think of harvest and beyond for me is a mindset. But for you, what does harvest and beyond mean?
Hmm.
For me, one of the things one of the first words that comes to me is leaving a legacy.
Yes.
Because when we do what we are called to do, and for myself, I always thought my purpose was going to be this big, huge, grandiose thing, this bigger than life thing. And what I realized is that my purpose is so simple. I just need to serve God, to learn, and then to teach others what I've learned if they want to learn it too. And that's where harvest comes in. And I think the thing what people struggle with harvest is that but why doesn't everybody want the same harvest? Well, no, we don't. It's like I live out in farm country. And we have cornfields and we have soybean fields and we have fields of clover. I always thought, okay, and I'm going to tell on myself. When I first moved out here, there is this, like, it's just the side of the road. And I used to just walk my dog through it. I just thought it was a field. Well, then all of a sudden I realized it's like, oh, it's been mowed down. I wonder why they mowed it down. Well, because it was a field of clover. Clover is a crop.
Yes.
Who knew? Who knew? So everybody's harvest can be different.
Mm-hmm.
But find out what your harvest is. So the farmer that I now know that's his harvest is because clover is for horses. The horses, that's one of the nutrients that they use and to have that they eat, they get to have clover. Who knew? If you don't come in that, if you aren't in that, I had never known about harvesting clover as a crop. And yet that's so important that all of us find out what's your crop. What's your field of expertise? What seeds can you plant in someone else's life that are going to take root, that are going to germinate, and they are going to be able to be part of a legacy and the ripple effect of what they are doing and we are doing, Barb and you and I and everybody else that is in this space of let's have a mindset of what are we going to do to make a difference?
Ooh, Barbara, that was powerful. Harvest and beyond. And she said, legacy. That's a ding, ding moment right there. Legacy. Miss Barbara Beckley, Queen, what's your thoughts on harvest and beyond?
I was thinking, first of all, Barbara, that's interesting that, you found it was a clover field. You see, coming together, you find out so many things that you don't even know, but I didn't realize that. So that was a learning curve for me. But as far as harvest and beyond, I think of harvest as whatever's going on in your life at the time that's becoming something that's becoming new and fresh, or something that you're changing or tweaking. That's the harvesting part of it. And then beyond is kind of like telling yourself, you can go, there's no limits to what you're trying to achieve, what you're harvesting. Because a lot of times sometimes we do this. I know I do sometimes, where I say, well, I can only just do this much, or if I do this, only go this certain way. How do you know that? Don't put it out there. Why? Because words are powerful. I always say that. So yeah, have the harvest, learn growing what you're doing, and then see beyond that of what's the dream of the extreme it could be. Right. Like with this TV, well, just prime example, the Diamond Feather Network. I would have never thought in a million years that I have my own network. But I harvest, I put the seeds, as what you would say, and I let it grow, and it got to this point.
Oh, that is good. That is powerful. Harvest and beyond, when I think about harvest and beyond, it's planting, cultivating, and harvesting your greatest potential in life. And Barbara, you said something, with God being the biggest part of that plan. And that's just for me, that's where it is. For some people, whatever that higher being is for themselves and where they find their source and their guidance from, let that be the center of your core and where you launch from into your harvest and into your next. Okay, ladies, tonight's topic, Harvest and Beyond, and we're talking about cultivating the meaningful and enduring relationships with our loved ones and our clients, transcending mere transactions. Okay, so the first question, y'all ready for this?
We're ready.
All right. What does Harvest and Beyond mean in the context of relationships? And why is it important to consider this perspective?
For me, our wealth is in our relationships. For myself, I'm a personality science trainer. And one of the things that I say fairly often is that we cannot do life on our own. People think they can. That people, I don't need anybody. I don't need anybody to help me. I can just do my own thing, and I don't have to do anything. Well, that's like that's like a farmer putting a seed into the ground and then never watering it or never nourishing it or do anything, and then all of a sudden that seed just shrivels up and dies. Well, that's I think what happens to people when they try to have that. They don't have that harvest mentality in their relationships, because a relationship that you have today might lead you to another relationship for tomorrow that's going to be an even stronger relationship, especially like if you have a client and things. Because one of the things that you never know who you meet today that is going to be an open door for you next year.
Yes.
Who is somebody that you have met today that's going to introduce you to your, like for myself, I'm going to be, let's be real. I'm single now. And I'm starting to get to the point where it's like, okay, yeah, I'd really like to meet somebody. Okay, so a relationship that I have now, if I cultivate it now, they might introduce me to my future mate, the person that God has for me. Mm-hmm. But if we don't nurture those relationships, and if we don't look beyond, it's not a, well, what's in it for me kind of thing. It's for me, it's a, what can I do to help you? Mm-hmm. And I truly believe that from that giving into and sowing into our relationships, they get stronger, they get more vibrant, they get more just absolutely luscious is a word that I like to use. And so then everything around us grows even more vibrant. Mm-hmm. And we as people, we as our own person, because of the relationships that we're now building to be luscious and vibrant, we thrive. Mm-hmm. Because we can't thrive on our own. Mm-hmm. We need the people around us.
Barb said luscious.
I know, I like that.
What's your take on that, sis?
Well, before I take that take on that, I like that word luscious. We have some viewer, Miss Queen there that I helped the other day. She has a comment. I was going to ask if you could read that, and then I'll get to my take.
Okay, let's see what the Queen has said. If I can see it.
Oh, you see it on the screen?
Okay, now I can see it. Miss Cassandra Wendy Share. Her comment is, we are interdependent beings, hence we need each other. That part right there. And when we leave the harvest mentality behind, that's when we struggle within our relationships. Well said, Miss Barbara E. All right, Queen. Barbara, what's your take on question number 1?
So that I like that, because I always think that anything you're trying to nurture, mm-hmm. Because we're talking about harvesting, so it seems like I go back and forth with the seeding and the mm-hmm. and the planting and the water and even the manure. I mean, yeah, that's there too. So you got to look at all that. So when you're doing that in a relationship, and if we're starting to talk about family, you got to put the work in. I mean, you got to put that kind of work in. And I found out through past experiences and now that a lot of times you can say, well, I did all that. I called, I was there for them, I'm showing up, and sometimes your show up and there for them might not be the same as what their show up and there for them is. Prime example with family and nurturing with that. I thought calling maybe every 6 months is okay. Because that's a boundary thing I have. And it depends on the history of my family, right? I'm just being truthful here. They look at me like, really? And then they turn around and say, well, you can call. And then the first thing I said, well, you can call too. You have a phone just like I do. So but then I had to think about, Barbara, is that really nurturing? Or is that saving face to say, okay, I tried, I did what I could do. So I had to really take a stand and look in the mirror and say to myself, okay, if you really want the family dynamic to change, you're going to have to nurture it in a way where people will see that you're trying, even though sometimes you'd be like, ugh, they're not doing whatever. But if you put the seeds out there, if you push it and you water it as you go, you can see the change that might happen within the family dynamics. And that's what it's really all about. So, I had to say to myself, Barbara, it's not just about you. It's about you maybe putting together a family dynamic that needs to be mended.
That's powerful, Barbara. That's actually profound. And thank you for your transparency. That's what these shows are about, being transparent, being real. We're having real talk tonight about cultivating relationships and what Harvest and Beyond means. Question number 2, how can individuals strike a balance between personal and professional relationships while maintaining this part, authenticity and trust?
Ooh.
I'm going to tackle that one for a minute.
Okay.
Just because one of my big things is that so often my clients, and this was a personal experience of me too, is that I spent so much of my life feeling like I was living by somebody else's rules. Because I was trying to be something that I wasn't. And when we feel that way, I mean, yes, going through the motions, and now I realize back to my first relationship, it ended in divorce because I was trying to make him into something that he wasn't, because I wasn't feeling like I was the right. And it just was like, okay, so we ended in divorce because we weren't communicating. And looking back now, taking responsibility for my part of it. Absolutely. And I think that's one of the biggest things is realizing, that you always hear it takes 2 to tango.
Come on now.
But how often do we actually say, okay, what part of this dysfunction in this relationship or in this whatever it is, what situation it is, well, where am I responsible?
That part.
In part, because every relationship, there is 2 people to it. One of the things I teach my clients is that the law of polarity. For there's hot and cold. There's war, there's soft and hard. There's light and dark. There's cloudy and sunny. There's the 2 sides. It's the law of polarity. Well, okay, now, well, if you've got one person that's saying, well, this is blue, and the other person saying, well, this is green, well, they might be seeing it as it's like one of those colors that's in the middle, like teal. Well, no, that's blue. Well, no, that's green. And yet you're both seeing the same color. You're just seeing it from a completely different aspect. So let's see, okay, all right, let's call it teal. Instead of calling it blue and calling it green, let's call it teal. And that's a compromise. But we know what we're talking, but we know that we're talking about that particular thing. And that's a simple example, but how often does that happen in a relationship? We're over something big. Let's see where we can compromise or find out, why does the other person feel that way so strongly? I know why I feel so strongly about this, but why is the other person feeling so strongly about it on the other side?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you an example. One day I was in Montreal visiting my family. My sister and I were sitting in the back seat of the car. My brother-in-law was driving and another friend of theirs. Well, Liz and I had kind of got up and we were like a little at each other. You know how women do. Of course, we would just never admit to that. And okay, that's what this is part is about too, is this being authentic, be real. We all have times where, and my sister and I, who we love each other, we are the closest of close, but we were nattering at each other and we took it, we started out and then got into the car and we were still doing it a little bit. And finally it was like, we looked at each other and said, what are we doing? What is this? What is this?
Mm-hmm.
The funny part is that we were both saying exactly the same thing, but we were coming at it from totally different directions.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we were going to get to, it's kind of like, there's two ways to get to New York City.
Mm-hmm.
One was coming from Florida, one was coming from Montreal, but you're both going to land up in New York City.
Oh, wow, Barbara, this is powerful.
And when we realized, it was like, what are we doing? And then of course it became funny, and now we still laugh about it. Remember that time we were sitting in the back of the car, and we were nattering at each other, and all of a sudden we realized we were saying the same thing, but just coming from a different aspect.
That's good right there. That is good.
It's huge.
Barbara, what can you add to that? Because Miss Barbara right here just talked about it takes two. That's cultivating the garden of your own soul first. Okay. Yes. So Miss Barbara, Queen Beckley, how can individuals strike a balance between personal and professional relationships while maintaining authenticity and trust?
Well, the biggest thing, and I know Barbara said it, and I think Cassandra said it too, because she's watching our show, is about boundaries. You have to have those boundaries, and if you don't agree on a business aspect, and this really comes into play when you have a friend and you're working business and personal relationship with them. You have to figure out how that's going to be separated without causing any problems in both avenues. Because I can be your friend, but then when it comes to business and I need something done, then we need something done. And I can't be like, well, hey, I'm your friend, and can't you just give me, we got to get this work done. But I love you, but we got to get this work done. And I think people tend to have a challenge with that. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it depends on the friend. I think it depends on the relationship. Really, when you think about it, because some people I can have a relationship because it's not as close, so I can kind of maneuver through the business part of it, being a friend. But if it's really a close person and something really kind of goes out of whack in a business sense, it is a challenge. It is a big challenge, to the point where if you understand the boundaries and then they don't understand them, and then they call you out on it on the friendship side of it, it's like, well, wait a minute, why are you? The business is different than this. Why are you throwing this in here? Right. So that's where I think the challenge goes. You have to have that communication with the boundaries, because if you don't communicate right, then everything gets scrambled wrong, and then that can cause relationships to fall.
Yes. That is so true. Cassandra, thank you for being a part of this conversation. She just said, valuing the other person's emotions. This is so good, Miss Barbara. But what you just said, Cassandra, is good too. Valuing the other person's emotions. All right, I think we got time to dive into question number 3 real quick. You ladies ready? Cassandra, you ready? Because you're coming back and forth with us too. Real talk tonight about harvest and beyond in our relationships. Question 3, what strategies can be employed to cultivate trust and loyalty in both personal and professional relationships, ensuring that they go, this part, beyond mere transactions? Who wants that first?
Oh.
Okay. Yep. As far as building trust, a saying that always comes to mind so often is, mean what you say and say what you mean.
Yes.
Okay. Absolutely the truth. One of my favorite things, and I've done talks on it, and I've done articles and things on it. And in fact, right now, a friend of mine and I, we're going to be putting together like a show on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's called when you mess up, because how many of us have messed up? Okay, you mess up,
Mm-hmm.
then you fess up, and then move on.
I like that.
I like that.
Absolutely, because we have all messed up.
Mm-hmm.
And and some people, I mean, we know that there are some famous mess ups.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Famous people that have done some really, whoa, I can't believe they did that. But you know what? When you mess up, come clean.
Mm-hmm.
Take responsibility. It comes back to I think one of the first things we talked about. Take responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I messed up. I am so sorry. If it is something that needs to be made restitution with, make restitution.
That's it.
If it's something that there is no way, because you know what? This now, okay, we're in the past. We are now, okay, that fast, we're now in the past. We're now in the past because we're talking about this. This show is now in the past. I cannot take back the words I just said.
Yes.
So when we can fess up to the words that we said that were hurtful, or that were unkind, or that were said in anger, then when we can, and just say, I am so sorry. I cannot believe that I said that. Fess up, rather than taking it in and saying, well, they made me say it. No, take that comes. So now we've come full circle. Take responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
If you get into an argument with somebody, it takes two to argue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you mess up, fess up, take the heat.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I did it. But then move on and forgive yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Forgive the other person.
Mm-hmm.
And then just say, hey, you know what? Like, I know that my husband and I, and the whole time before he passed away, there was one topic. I'm not going to mention what the topic was because it's a hill of beans. But we realized that we were never, ever, ever going to talk about it again.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had a fundamental difference in how we approached it and how we thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a couple of, the first time it was like, oh, this is fun. Yeah, then it was like, ooh, yeah, no, we're never going to agree. And that's okay. And I think that's the biggest thing. You are not going to agree with everybody about everything. Mm-hmm. So if something that you have said hurts somebody, then that's part of fessing up. Hey, I fess up, take the heat, say I shouldn't have done it, but then move on with it and just don't let it color anything moving forward.
Woo, Barbara, you said when you mess up, fess up.
Fess up. And then move on. And
that's maturity.
Yeah.
Yes. Mess up, fess up, then move on. You're harvesting in it and you're moving beyond it. Come on.
And you're moving beyond it.
All right. Miss Barbara, and we've got Chantel that's done joined this conversation. Welcome into this conversation, Chantel online, and Cassandra, she's still coming with it. She said, whoa, Miss Barbara E., we will be friends.
Yeah,
Come
absolutely.
on, Miss Barbara. All right. Queen Barbara J. Beckley, what strategies can be employed to cultivate trust and loyalty in both professional and personal relationships, ensuring that they go beyond mere transactions?
Well, I'm going to answer that question right after our sponsor.
All right.
Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been showing that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. We'll match you with the perfect buddy. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
We're offering you a free membership, so please sign up today. Share this with your friends and family, and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a chemo buddy for life.
We are a Buddies Network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are chemo buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.
All right. We are thankful for our sponsor. So, Miss Queen Barbara, are you ready? Do you need me to repeat the question again? Or you got it and you ready for it?
You're going to repeat it again.
All right. What strategies can be employed to cultivate trust and loyalty in both personal and professional relationships, ensuring they go beyond mere transactions?
Okay. Well, it all depends on what kind of relationship it is. Again, as I said before, but you said strategy. Really important. Getting to understand the other party in your life, getting to understand that person, getting to understand their story, getting to understand who they are. I think a lot of times we get so busy in life, that word busy, I know me and Barbara talked about that on another show, how the word busy seems like that's like the word of the century. And it seems like an excuse to not harvest into somebody's life and to cultivate and to get to learn who they are. And then if we do that, I think sometimes we wouldn't have some of the challenges in some of the relationships if we did get to know a person more. I mean, I'm just using an example and people on the panel. I mean, I know with Barbara, we've been doing this for 4 years, as we always say, and we got a chance to know each other. We got a chance to grow with each other. We got to see the things we like, we don't like. We see similarities in each other, and that helps grow. Like you said, harvesting your relationship with people. So that's a strat. That's one of the strategies I would tell everybody is really get to know a person, because, and then also that basically helps you respect that individual and care about them. You know, because when somebody asked me, like the other day, somebody, a certain individual called me in Messenger, and they were checking because I'm going to be in a summit with them. And the first thing they told me was, I was like, "Hi, I got the information for you for whatever." And he's like, "Well, Barbara, first of all, how are you doing?" How are you doing? I mean, they stopped me in my tracks.
Yes.
And I was like, because I'm not used to too many people doing that to me. I'm the one that's usually saying, "How are you doing?" and, you know, Queen and everything, like I say. But when they sat back and said, "How are you doing today? I want to hear how you're doing." That opens up the door to creating those relationships. That opens up the door to trust, because now you feel like, okay, this person really taking the time to see how I'm doing. So yeah.
Oh, that's good. And when they ask you, how are you doing? Guess what? That's watering your garden. So then your garden can harvest. All right. Next question. Can you share? This is real talk tonight. Can you share examples of experiences or practices that have helped you both build enduring relationships, not just any relationships, enduring relationships with your family, your friends, and your clients?
Okay, bro, you want me to take this one since you've been taking?
You can either way.
You've been leading the way, lady, and I appreciate you so much. I want to take it on a stand with clients, because I mean, I think I did a little with family and friends, but I want to do it with clients because there is even strategy to do that, to build those relationships and harvest. I always tell people, when you're in business, no matter what you're doing, you have to make yourself unique, a little different than the norm, and customer service is the key. Going beyond. Okay, we're going to use beyond word, right? Going beyond. So I'm always checking up on my clients. And it's not just, I might send a text or I might send an email. It's not so much of, okay, how are you doing? What do you want me to do now for your, your services? No, it's mostly like, you know what, I was thinking about you today, or I seen something that might help you to improve more in what you're doing. That says volumes, because now they see that you're taking the time out of all the times that you don't meet with them or anything, or doing the search for them, and saying they took the time to look somewhere else, to research something else, to know something else, and then come back to me and say, hey, I have this for you. I think this will help you out. And to just put a cherry on top with that, and charge them. But guess what? Because you are harvesting that relationship, building that, so that when you do bring in this little side tip of what you want to build, like a course or whatever that you want to, they're going to be open arms with it, because they're going to think about the times that you gave without kind of receiving that at the time. So I think that's really a big deal when you're cultivating with your clients, is making sure that you're building that relationship, so it won't be such a struggle when you think about it, when you do have to do the sale, when you do introduce them to something that's cost to it.
Oh, that's good, Barbara, because this is real talk tonight. We're talking about harvesting and beyond. And when we're pouring into others, we're not pouring so much as then our harvest becomes dry, because we have to talk about, there's money exchange when you talk about having a client. So you're pouring into them, and then you're harvesting even more when we talk about the monetization and our relationships with our clients. That was a ding ding powerful, Queen Barbara. Okay, Queen Barbara E., you ready for this question? Can you share an example or an experience or practice that has helped you build enduring relationships with your family, or you can take it with your friends, or you can do like Barbara, talk about it with your clients? Which one?
A little bit of both.
All right, come on.
Because one of the things that I am is I'm a personality science trainer. And when I learned about personality, there's 4 basics. Well, my youngest son and I'll use my youngest son. My youngest son and I we are so close. We love to get together and we talk about everything. It wasn't always that way. One of the things that when I learned personality science, I realized that he was a planner, that he plans things. He likes to have a schedule, and I'm a more spontaneous. So I would call him up at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning and say, let's do lunch. And he would go, well, Mom, I can't. I've got plans. So I would get all hurt that he doesn't want to be with me, because that's my emotional side. And he doesn't want to be with me. Well, once I learned personality science and realized that he was a planner, now I give him 3 weeks notice. Hey, let's do lunch, because we live a fair distance away from each other. So let's do lunch. Would this date or this date be better for you? Morning, afternoon? Do we want to do breakfast or lunch? And give him all the choices. And and then it is absolutely amazing, because like if we say that we're going to meet at 9 o'clock, I make sure that I'm there at 8:45, because planners don't like people to be late. So I would get there early. And the last time that we were together, and I said, oh, gee, what's your plan for the rest of the day? And he said, well, I don't have anything planned. We had a wonderful time. We closed the restaurant because I became the plan that he was going to spend time with his mom. And it has made such a difference in our relationship. So that's one of the things that I help people with, and I have a free a plug here. If you're looking for a free personality assessment, it's a freebie. If you want to do it with you and your family, feel free to reach out to me. Barb Beckley has done it. It's just, and it's fun. So kind of that's one of the things that I like to try to do, and I'll do it with couples, or I'll do it with business partners.
Okay.
Because what are your strengths? What are your strengths? How can we work them together? How can we say, oh, well, this is somewhere that we need to work on? And then it becomes a fun thing rather than a. So you come together in a soft part here and have your energy meld rather than your energy fighting each other.
Oh, Barbara, that's good. That is so good. And I'm so getting ready to take that personality science.
It's a personality science. It's been around for 2,500 years. It was back from Hippocrates. You know, the Hippocratic Oath.
Yes.
2,500 years. But now so many people, and really right now, most people have taken some kind of personality assessment. And it is so important to know yourself, but then to find out how to know others.
That's it.
What are they doing? Because you can't do life on your own.
You sure can.
So why not do it well with other people?
We were not created to be alone.
We
That's
were not
it.
created to be alone. You know, to do life on our own. And I think that's where people run into trouble, because they try to do it on their own and they don't, and they're so afraid of asking for help because that they're going to be think that they are going to be seen as being weak. No, you're not weak. We are human.
I believe, Barbara, what the beautiful balance is in that when we think about harvesting and beyond, and we're talking about the relationship, you just said people don't say things because they think they're weak. But the beautiful thing about being in a relationship and when you're harvesting and you're going beyond, where one is weak, you allow the other one to be strong. And then pour into you. And then you get that balance and that relationship can go to that next level.
Exactly.
This is real talk tonight. Oh, girls.
And I think one of the biggest relationship that you need to have is with yourself, and be authentic with yourself. Number one of the things that, back to personality science, quit beating yourself up for the things that you're not. Celebrate the things that you are. What makes you you? You're unique. What makes your soul sing? Those are the things that you need to work on. And don't compare yourself to somebody else's, because one of the things that I share quite often on our Time to Shine Happiness show is that so many people, they look at somebody else's highlight reel and compare it to their everyday. We all have an everyday kind of, we do have to, clean our toilet. That's the everyday stuff that we have to do. But we see the sizzle reel of somebody else.
Ooh, from the innermost to the outermost. We have 1 minute to wrap it up, ladies. Okay, now, 1 minute left. What are you going to give us on your closing on Harvest and Beyond and how it pertains to relationships, whichever relationship you want to dive into? Queen Barbara Beckley, starting with you. We can't hear you.
Thing I would just say is communication is the key. It's a simple thing. Probably people say that's simple. That's just what? No, it's not. Because the biggest thing about communication is not so much of doing this, but more of doing this.
Right.
Old saying goes, you got 2 ears and one mouth. There's a reason for it, right? So sometimes you got to close that, open the ears, build a relationship, and don't be so selfish with what you want to say, but hear what the other person's saying. And that's planting the seeds. Not just for you, but for them to see that they can trust you, and then also go beyond with the relationship, because now you're building something together.
All right. Queen Barbara E.
I think one of the things for me too is that every seed has a time to sprout. And so often we want a seed to sprout before it's ready. And it's like we're pulling up the seed, we've planted the seed and then we're pulling it up to see if it's growing. Quit doing that. Let it has its own time to germinate, and where the harvest will come from. And if as I said, I live in corn country. I live in the farm country, and so one year they'll plant soybeans, and the next year they'll plant corn, or opposite way. You can go through any field that's got soybeans in it, and you'll see an occasional corn stalk, because that seed was probably planted last year, but it germinated this year. Give everybody the benefit of the doubt of that they might not be ready for what you have, and let them grow. And all you're doing is you're watering and you're nurturing and you're sharing and caring, and with kindness.
All right. All right. This has been an awesome topic tonight. Cultivating meaningful and enduring relationships with our loved ones, our clients. What we talked about, Harvest and Beyond. We talked about planting the seeds, harvesting them. And guess what, ladies? And guess what, everybody? Growing beyond them.
Awesome. So with that, thank you, Christina. You did an awesome tremendous job. You made us think. You had some wonderful questions. I was like, oh Lord. I said, am I gonna pass this test?
But our Miss Cassandra, she has some powerful statements in the chat there. Chantel popped in. This was real talk tonight about these relationships, harvesting and going beyond them.
Yeah, so just to let everybody know that we'll be back next month, November, I'm supposed to have it in front of my face, November 2nd. Every first Thursday we come on 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, and 4 o'clock Pacific Time. Did I get it right? Yes. Usually with me in time zones is kind of, so I'm glad I'm getting it better with it. And just make sure that whatever you do in life, like we always say, make sure that you're just understand that you are important, that you're a diamond, as I always say, that you're uniqueness, make happiness the norm, and always think about harvesting and beyond, as Mrs. Christina Shante said tonight. So we will see you next month, same station, same time.
Bye.